The thing about timeless literature is that it's timeless even when there is a year, a specific year, and a specific date in the title. Look, one of the things that I'm going to share today in this video is that if we steep our hearts too long in the brew of self indulgence, we lose the potency necessary for love. And that I think is true. That I think is the opposite is shared in this very poem. But I think we can take that away from this poem as well. Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we're here for another poetry discussion, which will appear, of course, in the poetry discussion playlist here on the channel. A playlist that is now cruising towards 700 poems strong. The poem in question today is titled Easter 1916 by William Butler Yeats, and it reads as such. I have met them at close of day, coming with vivid faces from counter or desk or among gray 18th century houses. I have passed with a nod of the head or polite, meaningless words, or have lingered a while and said polite, meaningless words, and thought before I had done of a mocking tale or jibe to please a companion around the fire at the club, being certain that they and I but lived where motley is worn, and changed utterly. A terrible beauty is born. That woman's days were spent in ignorant goodwill, her nights in argument, until her voice grew shrill. What voice more sweet than hers when, young and beautiful, she rode to harriers? This man kept a school, and rode our winged horse. This other, his helper and friend, was coming into his force. He might have won fame in the end, so sensitive his nature seemed, so daring and sweet his thought. This other man I had dreamed a drunken, vainglorious lout. He had done most bitter wrong to some who are near my heart. Yet I number him in the song. He, too, has resigned his part in the casual comedy. He, too, has been changed in his turn, transformed utterly. A terrible beauty is born. Our hearts, with one purpose alone, though through summer and winter seem enchanted to a stone, to trouble the living stream, the horse that comes from the road, the rider, the birds that range from cloud to tumbling cloud. Minute by minute they change. A shadow of cloud on the stream changes minute by minute. A horse hoof slides on the brim, and a horse splashes within it. The long-legged moor hens dive. The hens to moorcocks call. Minute by minute they live. The stones in the midst of it all. Too long a sacrifice can make a stone of the heart. Or when may it suffice that is heaven's part, our part, to murmur a name upon name, as a mother names her child when sleep at last has come on limbs that had run wild. What is it but nightfall? No, no, not night, but death. What was it needless death after all? For England may keep faith for all that is done and said. We know their dream enough to know they dreamed and are dead. And what if excess of love bewildered them till they died? I write it out in verse. Macdonough and McBride and Connolly and Pierce, now and in time to be, wherever green is worn, are changed utterly. A terrible beauty is born. Now I want to concentrate this discussion right here. Too long a sacrifice can make a stone of the heart. I think this is true. Is this the world that we live in, where our sacrifice has made a stone of the heart? I think for too many of us, it is true either this way or the opposite. And like I said at the beginning, Sacrifice can make a heart of the stone, but so too can self-indulgence. Self-indulgence can make our hearts, if we steep it too long in the brew of self-indulgence, lose the potency necessary for the sacrifice of love. Now, what happens with many people is that we will modulate roughly between the sacrifice of the day, the doldrums of the jobs that we know and hate. We know them by rote. We know our jobs and can go about them without paying much attention. We modulate roughly from that into nights, evenings of Netflix and doom scrolling. We pass each other with a nod of the head, as is mentioned earlier in the poem. Where is it? It's a long poem. A nod of the head and some meaningless, polite words, right? How often have you found yourself passing someone in the market and just doing this? It feels at times this is the only smile that I have left. We pass each other, maybe we share a few polite, meaningless words, and then we evaporate from each other's day. We do not have the community, perhaps, that once we did. We evaporate from each other's day, still strangers, to reclaim places with our favorite characters in sitcoms instead. We know Ross Geller. We know, I don't watch TV, so I don't know any current characters on television. We know these people better than we know our neighbors. We strive to get home to reclaim our places with them, as opposed to our neighbors. This poem, it seems to me, is a call to presentness, a call to not sacrifice too many days in order to make a stone of our heart. If we are present in the day, if we are present in the moment, if we are present with our neighbors, with the people that we pass in the supermarket, we have moments to reclaim our heart from the brew of self-indulgence or the boiling self-sacrifice that we make. I am too guilty of simply tuning out at work, not being aware of my coworkers, not being aware of the people who are around me, and then I race to get home to spend time on the internet. Often what I do is I make these videos, right? Over 2 years now, or close to 2 years now, of daily uploads on this channel. My self-indulgence is not Netflix. My self-indulgence is this. I think that this poem is a call to noticing that. Do you have a self-indulgence? Do you have an opportunity in your life to step away from sacrifice? Do you have a moment in your life to step away from self-indulgence and simply put out your hand? I do. I know that I do. I have to get better at that. Poetry like this is one of the ways in which we can, this is one of the greatest uses of literature, making us aware in our own lives of these moments, this presentness that I have lost. Have you lost this as well? Moments where we have become completely the stone. I think that there is, in this recall, the stones in the midst of it all that happens through this poem. A terrible beauty being born in this realization that we have perhaps lost parts of ourselves, that we have lost community. Easter 1916, William Butler Yeats writes about. But this is present now. This is present always. That is what literature does. It makes moments like this moment of clarity for William Butler Yeats real to all of us. That is what I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing that I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. There's poetry every Monday, and as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.